Okay guys, just snapped in the last panel. Wanted to show you the finished results of this ceiling that I got. I mentioned before in my previous video that I bought it used on Facebook Marketplace for 450 bucks, which was a huge savings. So it's a 2022 Sprinter van, a 170 high top. And this is a gorgeous ceiling that I got used for 450 bucks. So I just popped in this final panel. Now, it wasn't quite plug and play. It was a little trickier than I thought, but I had to cut this hole because it didn't exist. My light was stuck back here in the metal frame, and that was covered up here. So there is an outline for it, and I just used the light to trace it. And then I got all these other lights in, and I had to rewire because I only had 4 lights in the van. So I spliced off and added 6 lights now, which I love. I took my little frame that was over my sliding door over there that got covered up by the ceiling, and I bolted it in here, and I ran 3 wires down to this. You need 3 wires to have a switched one. Look how nice that is. So now I can operate that from the ground or from inside the van without bending over or jumping up in the van. And then it turns on my 5 lights on the ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is a lot more lighting. So I have 6 lights instead of 4 lights. Splicing off. Now the trick to splicing I'll show you in a second. But let me just cover a couple other things. One thing about this ceiling, if you need pop clips, go with the original Mercedes. The aftermarket are junk. And I did lose all my hanging holes that I hung all my sweaty motorcycle gear on. So I had to start adding hooks. I got these aluminum hooks on Amazon. I'll put a link to those. I found this helmet hook I thought I'd try. It comes in a 2-pack. It's kind of cool. I don't know if that'll stay put or what. I can obviously secure it with some other bungee cords or something. And that is that. So I'm adding more hooks. I'm going to add some cargo nets to hold junk in place, because every time we're loading bikes, we usually put 4 or 5 bikes in here, and it's a tricky deal, and there's crap on the floor and you're always tripping on it and, you know, getting in the way, tools and gear. And so we're trying to get as much off the floor as possible so that we can load easily and not trip on everything. All right, so here's the Mercedes clips that you have to get, because these things are critical to popping your ceiling back in. And here is the company that I got them from. That should help you narrow it down. And it was the cheapest I could find. I paid 45 bucks for 20 clips, which is kind of silly, but the aftermarket ones are like $9 for like a million of them. But that's just what you got to do. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it to snap in nice. And they snap in nice and crispy and firm. No dips in the ceiling. They're all plugged in. So hopefully when I'm driving down the road, they don't pop loose. But hopefully it'll get heat formed here in Florida and try to settle in, hopefully. All right, so the trick on these lights, I got a bunch of extra lights because my van had 4 and this thing came with 5, I believe. Yes. So the trick is they got 3 prongs. 3 prongs means that you can have a switched light, as you can see. This one is a switched one. And you need to have wires to all 3 prongs. Now, I didn't get any factory plugs, so I had to do a little splicing and monkeying around. I happen to have tiny little females that would slide on there. So I crimped those tiny females on, and I did the outside ones. I did not do the middle. And what I did is I put shrink wrap on those tiny little heads so that they wouldn't contact that center post. So I went to the left and to the right and slid the little females on there, and I got light. Now, I got light for the simple non-switched one, and for the switched one, I actually cut the factory head off, and then that very last light on the ceiling, that one I turned into a 2-wire, and I put my 3-wire on the wall as I showed you earlier. So I really like that. So I got the 6 lights, and I'm able to switch that from, you know, the ground or inside the van without jumping up in the van or bending or, you know, getting down. So that's the trick on the lights. So get yourself tiny little females, crimp them on, insulate them with some wire shrink or something. And I had to do that here as well because I had to splice off the front one. I had to run another lead to add this light in. Again, like I said, I only had 4 lights in this cargo van. 1 here on the slider and 1 in the rear and 2 in the middle. Well, I hope that helps you guys. Again, I saved a ton of money with this factory ceiling used from a guy. There's a lot of them out there. You just have to look, and you might have to travel a little bit to get it. This was a couple hours away, but it was worth it. Took me like a month and a half to pick it up, but I finally got it. And like I said, thin slate insulation was awesome. And I'm going to show you guys another little trick in my next video about a curtain rod here, because I always hang a curtain to trap the AC, the heat, and kill some sound. But I did come up with a cool little solution I'll tell you guys in the next video. All right, check the links down below for all the stuff that I put in here, the hooks, the clips I gave you the address to, the light trick, the helmet hanger kit pack if you want one of those from Amazon, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot. Appreciate any likes and subscribes, and I'll talk to you guys later.